others all have the possibility to become good guys, wonderful guys. There should be no enemy. We all should love each other. As a Christian, I condemn no guy to be evil. But in reality, our world contains an appalling, an enormous amount and variety, both of suffering and of evil. Perhaps
You have a question that you want? I mean,
yes,
you're saying very interesting things, but I think we're going to have to give people a chance to ask questions. And do you have a question?
Yes.
Okay.
Perhaps our no-century rivals are ours for the magnitude of either. So I acknowledge that evil is quite real. If I don't deny it, if I deny it, I would be a liar. But in any horrifying case, we should overcome the evil with the good.
Where are you going? What's your question? I know I can't disagree with anything you're saying, but what is the question?
So I'm from South Korea.
Yeah.
What do you think of the relationship between South Korea and North Korea?
Well, you know, I don't know whether that question is supposed to have to do with the President Bush's including North Korea in the evil axis, or axis of evil. I think that declaring the evil to be totally out there, to label a whole country as evil, is exactly what we need to transcend. I think that's not going to get us anywhere. It's going to alienate, in the true sense of alienate, that's the right use of that word, a whole people, pointlessly. Yes, there's evil, but where is the evil? Is it a country? No. It's something that is an aspect of ourselves which may be expressed powerfully by some acts that we, like the 9/11 event, but there's also evil in ourselves when we destroy the wildlife of the Arctic or plunder the other parts of the world for the resources to feed our appetites for power and whatever. Yeah.
In answer to his question, I have found the enemy, and the enemy is us. The fear within, period. We have to deal with our own fear. That's the darkness. My question is this. What happened to your little coalition, and is there a place in the future where a little coalition of that sort can come together again, where we could start crossing over these different disciplines?
What do you mean coalition?
The different scientists and people you put together in your little
well, we're still
university.
doing that. I mean, we have a center called the Center for Psychology and Social Change, and the PEER, the Program for Extraordinary Experience Research, is a program of that center. And we have Pat Carr, my associate, we have a table with that literature, and it'd be great if you would get to know more about what we're doing, because I think we're trying to reach out and touch a lot of people and of many different disciplines. So I mean, it is going on. If you'd like to join us, that would be terrific.
Yeah, can you rattle off a website number?
Yeah, www.centerchange.org.
First of all, Dr. Mack, thank you so much for coming here, and thanks for standing up for your belief and being an avant-garde and trying to go new places. And I'm going to fire 3 real quick ones at you. First of all, if you had to choose, which is most likely, that we are being studied, farmed, or evolved? If you can only choose one.
All 3.
You can't choose all 3.
And, not or.
No,
I don't know. I think that it can, the evolved would be not from them, would be from what we do with what's before us. You know, it's a very non-interventional God.
I know.
Whatever this God is, this creator, it seems to have a kind of non-interventionist approach to leaves it to us, you know.
I was looking for your gut first response. I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you. Next question is, how many species do you think are visiting us?
Let me answer quickly. Again, I don't go there because I don't know. Take this whole tremendous variety of reactions I mentioned to the reptilian experience. Okay, it looks like there are all kinds of different reptilian beings, right? But maybe that's not true at all. Maybe there are all kinds of matches here between the psyches of different individuals and the reptilians. That's a hard thing to get your arms around, but before I start saying there's lots of different kind of reptilians, there may be lots of different kinds of fits going on here.
Okay,
What's the third one?
Got you real quick. If you take into account the fact that a superior race has many, many different levels of intelligence above us, cloaking devices, travel, species, intergalactic, how do you really justify the encounter if they can create any event they want, the holographic or the quantum or the cellular division or interaction? How do you truly know what experience you had? And if you're able to quantify that, what criteria are you using? And I hope to talk to you later.
All right. Just want to make, again, a comment that I'm so much into this whole participatory co-creation of reality thing that I've actually, and I know a lot of other researchers in this field wouldn't agree with this, but I don't think that when a person reports to you something that suggests they've had an experience and you discover, I don't think that experience is fixed, just kind of like that little thing that was under the skin that Roger showed, that because I've seen with the experiences I've worked with over time, not only do the experiences evolve, but their relationship to a past experience that we've already covered will evolve. So, in other words, I don't think we can say the experience is this because it changes.
Right. In other words, the real mystery lies in trying to find out what the true experience really was, it would seem to me.
Or maybe there is no fixity of what it was. That's even scarier, you know, to our point of view. Yeah.
I believe that woman that saw that crop circle didn't know where to put it. I believe she was like admitting she was brainwashed, practically. Anyway, where I wanted to go was where I'm glad to see you raised. I felt for many years that the way our discipline's been set up, especially in humanities and also in science, the way they've been pigeonholed and categorized have been intentionally to keep us in certain little realms. And that what you're doing is extremely important because the first thing we have to do to make real progress is to jump across those kind of boundaries. And unfortunately, the worst perpetrator of these little cubbyholes and boundaries is the institution you work in, because that's where that's the head biggest university in the country, funded by what, the Rockefellers and so on and so forth.
Well, let's not go there, but I agree.
Right.
I mean,
agree. But I meant the cubbyholes.
Because the Rockefellers have funded my work too, so that's.
They have.
You know, yeah. I mean, Lawrence Rockefeller has actually funded a lot of very progressive movements in this country. I'm not generalizing about the Rockefeller family. And people have their point of view about that.
Okay.
But again,
this cubbyholing science and the humanities, isn't that like putting them at a dead end because there's a rivalry and a lack of communication?
Well, that's why I think a group like this could be so powerful, because we have the capacity to collaborate, to jump categories.
Right.
We're by the very fact that we're ventured into this kind of wild, weird area shows we're willing to jump categories. But then we end up getting divided among ourselves. So that.
But didn't these categories get defined? Wasn't Harvard among the leadership in defining these categories way back when in the 1800s?
Nah, I think they've been around they've evolved. I don't want to blame Harvard for everything.
Okay, well,
you know.
Yale and Princeton.
I mean, they dealt with me in some ways pretty fairly. I mean, I might have gotten much worse than I did, you know. And I don't think they were trying to get rid of me, by the way. I think they just wanted to distance themselves. They distanced themselves from me so that they wouldn't have to be held accountable for what I was saying. Yeah, thanks.
Hi. I thought it was very interesting what you were saying about the scientists having this blockage with the Big Bang Theory, because it actually seems to represent their insistence that matter creates thought rather than the idea that thought creates matter. I wonder if somehow they can be encouraged to focus debate on that issue or that particular point, perhaps. Maybe it would encourage them to sort of expand their frame of reference and then maybe sort of understand how all this works.
We have, there's a beautiful person on our board by the name of Trish Pfeiffer, and she's not a published person, or academic or anything, but she's a brilliant person, and she's had a passion most of her life with the notion that consciousness is primary in the universe, and that matter and energy come from consciousness. That consciousness is what preceded the Big Bang, say. And she's